An unusual event is taking place in Vietnam this week, a public worship service. In the past, the communist nation cracked down on religious freedom.
But now the country wants to step onto the global stage, so they're opening the door towards human rights. George Thomas has that story.
This is a sight seldom seen in communist Vietnam. Christians publicly worshiping Jesus Christ. It happened when the government allowed more than 13,000 Christians to hold a public concert last April. Church leaders say they are benefiting from the government attempting to become a world player. Pastor Deborah requested that we hide her identity for security reasons.
Our government signed many policies when it joined the World Trade Organization, like freedom of religion, freedom of human rights.
Organizers hope to keep the momentum going with an even bigger worship concert this weekend. An estimated 30,000 people are expected to attend.
Very seldom do we have freedom to sing and pray together like this. After 20 years of facing many difficulties, many tears and all the persecution, now the church is slowly emerging. The Lord is promising us that a great revival is coming to Vietnam.
CBN News visited several churches and found everyone praying earnestly for the big celebration. Prayer teams even mounted up on motorbikes to ride around the city and saturate it with prayer. Our CBN News Asia correspondent Lucille Talusan went along for a ride.
This team is made up of the intercessors of a Christian church, and now Van is taking me to what they call the Vietnamese style of Jericho walk. This is called the Jericho motorbike prayer ride, and everybody here is proclaiming the lordship of Jesus Christ over Vietnam.
We bind the evil spirit, the king of the darkness. We are praying for the heart of people open for the gospel.
That prayer was desperately needed because 2 days before the event, the government still had not issued a permit for the celebration. Then officials canceled a pre-event prayer rally, so organizers went back to their house churches and prayed. Soon after, the government granted the permit, opening the door for what these Christians believe will be a great blessing to their country. George Thomas, CBN News.
Well, that's a report you're not going to see anywhere else. And what good news is that, to bring in Christmas with a prayer meeting in Vietnam. The persecution in that country has been unbelievable over the past 20 years, 25 years. And to see it finally opening up for public worship is wonderful, and we rejoice in it. Lee Webb has the rest of our top stories from the CBN Newsroom.
Gordon, the 20-year battle over a Veterans Memorial Cross in California went to the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals Thursday, but it's not clear how or when the judges will rule. The 43-foot cross sits atop San Diego's Mount Soledad. It was built more than 50 years ago as a memorial to Korean War veterans. The ACLU has fought to have the cross removed, though. They say its display on public land is unconstitutional. Last year, a judge disagreed and ruled that the cross is more of a secular memorial to war veterans than a statement promoting religion. A much-anticipated vote on legalizing same-sex marriage in New Jersey has been put off indefinitely. State senators there were supposed to vote Thursday, but they canceled that vote amid speculation that the bill would have gone down in defeat. Gay marriage supporters in New Jersey hope to pass the bill, though, before Republican Governor-elect Chris Christie takes office in January. He has vowed to veto any same-sex marriage bill. Israel's Knesset has approved a law which creates a biometric database for every citizen. Critics have called it, quote, the Big Brother bill. The plan only goes into effect for a trial period of 2 years, and participation is voluntary. The Jerusalem Post reports that if the trial is successful, though, the government will create smart identification documents for every Israeli. They will include a microchip containing 2 fingerprints and a picture of the person's face, and they could be used in smart cards. A final decision on the program may not be made, though, for at least 4 years. Gordon?
The amazing thing about this kind of technology is fairly soon, and it's available already, so it's not fairly soon, but fairly soon governments may be looking at this, that you actually have an implant. And you were seeing that little microchip and that thing, you could actually have an implant and they could put it on your body. And that way, when you run through government checkpoints, it knows exactly who you are. And then it lines what your chip is saying up with your retina scan or with some kind of facial scan or with fingerprints. all an illusion to get security. That's what this is all about, and this is why Israel is one of the first countries, is the first country to adopt this kind of thing, is they're trying to keep terrorists out of Jerusalem and protect innocent civilians.
But you're not putting the chip in the terrorists, you're putting it in Israeli citizens. What's the point?
Well, if someone comes through who is not ID'd as an Israeli citizen, they are...
If you're chipless.
Right, if you're chipless.
Wow.
You now get enhanced scrutiny. But can you forge these things? Can you, make it look, it's one of those things that, an illusion of security. Let me underline this one. And the other part of it is you're starting to see things that are written in the book of Revelations 2,000 years ago that you used to scratch your head, how can this ever happen?
Yeah.
And,
On multi-fronts, you're seeing that occur. Very fascinating.
A Medal of Honor winner will be able to keep an American flag flying over his home. Retired Army Colonel Van Barfoot lives in a Richmond, Virginia neighborhood that bans standalone flagpoles in the front yard. The Homeowners Association threatened to fine the 90-year-old veteran unless he took it down. The controversy triggered a public outcry. Even Virginia's governor, a U.S. senator, and the Obama administration spoke out against the move, so the association finally dropped its demands. World AIDS Day is an annual December event to raise support and awareness for the fight against HIV/AIDS. This year, Operation Blessing organized a special event to help more than 500 children in India who are HIV positive. Nutritional packages as well as school bags were provided to the children. In Hyderabad, Operation Blessing International provides support at a local clinic. Residents can receive free care, counseling, vitamins, and supplements. And you can find out more about the work of Operation Blessing at ob.org.